And on to politics. More email drama for Hillary Clinton. It turns out Congressman Darrell Issa sent a letter to the State Department back in 2012 asking if Clinton used her personal email account for official business. But Hillary wasn't in any rush to respond. Here to weigh in, Wayne Rogers, chairman of Wayne Rogers and Company, and Michael Goodwin, the chief political columnist of the New York Post. Welcome to you both. Michael, I'm going to start with you. So here is what Darrell Issa's letter said. Have you or any senior agency official ever used a personal email account to conduct official business? If so, please identify the account used. Radio silence. Your reaction? Well, look,
I believe, Gerri, that we have no idea the tonnage of sort of dirty information in the email server, which is, I think she did this in the very beginning just to shield it both from the White House and Congress and Freedom of Information requests. And she dumped everything in there, probably carelessly. And then, of course, when she gets letters like this, she starts delete.
I can't hear you.
Yes.
Wayne, what do you say?
Well, I don't think it was careless at all. I think it was absolutely directed. She did it all. Listen, this woman has a long history of deceit. I mean, you go back to Filegate and Chinagate and all of these things, stealing furniture from the White House and then sending it to the House. This is a woman whose life is based on deception, based on obscurantism, trying to fool the public, telling the people one thing and doing something else, and then engaging in this condescension where she says, "Oh, I'm from for the little man. I'm from the guy who's down and out." Meanwhile, she's traveling around in airplanes and cars and spending money and living in $1 million house and pretending to be like she's a person of the people. She's a total, absolute, and directed fraud.
You know what I like about you, Wayne, is you say what you think. That's what I like. There's no...
Well, it's true.
Yes.
Wait a second. Hold on. I'm backed up by the facts. I'm talking facts. I'm not talking political ideology.
Right. No, I hear you, my friend. And that's why we have you on tonight to talk about Hillary in this segment. Michael, to you. What's interesting about this is that the GOP is now saying, well, you're just like Mitch Romney.
Well, look, I do think in many ways there is that argument to be made against her. There is the argument that...
She hasn't driven since, what, 2006?
Right.
Hasn't driven a car.
Right. And she's lived on the public dime almost her entire adult life, that she's been cosseted by Secret Service, that everything is sort of, given to her, special treatment everywhere she goes. And so I think there is definitely a sense of being out of touch. But I think to the point that Wayne made about dishonesty, I think that to me is one of the key arguments against her. And we're going to hear it endlessly, I think, both from Republicans and any Democrats who get in, because already in the polls, Gerri, you look at there are 6 swing states Quinnipiac has surveyed, and nearly half or over half, and every one of them, voters of both parties say she is not trustworthy.
Well, you hear it over and over again. And Wayne, to you, I was riveted by that video she put out and this conversation that she wants to talk to real Americans like they're in the National Geographic. And look at those pictures. Aren't they interesting? Can she talk to regular people who actually, have to pay their bills every month, drive cars, take care of themselves? I mean, what kind of currency does she have with Americans?
I have no idea. I have no idea why anybody believes her. She's condescending when she does it. I mean, she's talking down to these people. I mean, she thinks she's encouraging somebody. She hasn't the vaguest idea what it means to work like they work. She hasn't, not one iota. She's cheated all her life. She's done everything wrong, and she's gotten away with it by being in the public domain where she can create, something that says, "Oh, well, I'll get back to you later." 2 years later, 3 years later, she buries it under the rug. The whole thing about Benghazi is outrageous. Everything she does is outrageous. She is a fraud from the beginning to the end. And if you don't, just go look at the record. Okay. That's all you got to do. You have to ask yourself. No, wait, let me finish. You have to ask yourself, why does she do this? Why does she have a private thing? Why does she? Because she's trying to avoid the truth. That's why. Because she's a fraud.
Pretty. It's not pretty.
Well, I would, at the risk of taking Hillary Clinton's side in this argument, which I won't do, but I do think that she gets away with it because it works. I mean,
it works.
She is.
Well, look, the media is complicit in this. I think there's that. I have to get you to one other thing, and Wayne, I want you to weigh in here. So our own Ed Henry sending out an email today from Hillary's campaign saying she's having this sit down. It's like Oprah. It's this conversation, this back and forth. It's like a talk show. There are no serious questions. Nobody's holding anybody's feet to the fire. Quick response, Wayne, and then I'll come to Michael, and then we got to go.
Well, of course nobody is, because the press is in love with her. She hides behind the fact, and Gerri, you'll forgive me, but you would know this better than she hides behind the fact. She says, "Oh, I'm a woman." Well, so what? Don't you want to see a woman as president?
Yeah.
I mean, well, I understand that. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's of course, but nobody pins it to her. Nobody grabs her. Nobody in the press has the guts to grab her.
These Republican candidates are not going to be able to do it either because they're going to be embarrassed to do it.
I don't agree with that at all because the New York Times, who I'm no fan of, broke the story about the secret email server. I mean, every paper, the Washington Post did a big story on her lobbying with foreign governments for money for the foundation. The Wall Street Journal did a big story on the corporations who she lobbied for giving money to the foundation. So I think she is not the darling of the press that Barack Obama is. I think we shouldn't confuse the two. I think she's going to have a very hard time.
It's a tight race, though.
Yeah.
It's a tight race. And Wayne and Michael, thank you so much for coming on and talking about this. Wayne, I understand your passion, and I appreciate it. Thank you.